Welcome to the presentation of SAP Concur. What is SAP Concur? It is a cloud-based travel and expense system, configurable out-of-the-box solution, integrated with Gmail that it Grab and has its own SAP Concur mobile application. These are the SAP Concur functionalities. We have Concur Travel, Concur Request, and Concur Expense. Under Concur Travel, we have booking of hotel, booking of airfare, audit rules, and travel request integration. In Concur Request, we have travel request, CA or cash advance request, budget, approval flow for travel, approval flow for cash advance, and again, audit rules. For Concur Expense, reimbursement, liquidation, audit rules, PCF or petty cash fund, expense allowance fund replenishment, budget, SAP Concur integration, and expense approval flow. This is the home page of SAP Concur. On the left side, we have trip search, wherein you can actually book your air flights and your hotel accommodation. At the right side, we have here company notes, wherein you can put all the necessary notes and announcements for your company. So when you click read more here, you will be able to see all the notes, all the announcements that your company will be having. All right, let's go to expense. So this is the basic functionalities of SAP Concur. We have requests, travel, expense, and app center. So first, let's tackle requests. So when you click requests, this is the display wherein you can see their manage requests, new requests, and quick search. Under manage requests, you have different views of requests. So once you have a number of requests, it will auto-populate here, and you can choose preference of view for unsubmitted requests, active requests, spending, etc., and all requests. For new requests, your company can incorporate policies. So in this example, we have two policies. We have travel and cash advance. So this is all under requests. And you also have here some tabs. So when you click segments, you will see here the plane icon and that dead icon that represents hotel reservation. The third tab are the expenses necessary for travel, for example. So we have per diem, we have toll charges, public transport. So it depends on what kind of expenses you'll be having on a particular travel. And for the approval flow, this will be the tab wherein you can find the respective approvals or approvers of your company, your heads, your IS, your managers. And then the last tab, which is the Audit Trail. As you can see there, you will have information on the request level as to the time it is being filed, when was it approved, and where is the application now. Once you create a request, there is a specific code here. So in this example, we have 4P7X. This is the request code or request reference. So for follow-ups, for flight reservations, follow-ups in hotel accommodations, cash advance, seeding or crediting, etc. So this is our reference as far as the request is concerned. Quick search. Once you have filed requests, you can input here. So in this example, if we're going to find 4P7X, let's say for example, you've already had a number of requests here. So you just type here the request code or reference. All right. And next up, we'll go to travel. So it's familiar, right? The one we saw at the home page here. Since basically SAP Concur is a travel and expense system, so the home page displays the travel search. So again, you will be able to book here, reserve flights and hotel accommodations. So for flight search, you have the option for round trip, one way, or multi-city. So if you choose round trip, you will see there the from and to, which indicate what departure city, airport or train station, to what arrival city or airport, and then the depart date, and the depart time, morning, afternoon, evening, and of course the choices of hours, and then the plus minus number. So for example, if you choose like 10 a.m. and then you will put here +7 hours. So the flight search will show up or will display ±7 hours from 10 a.m. The same is true with the return flight. So for example, if you want 1 p.m. and you want +-9, the flight search, when you click search here, will display ±9 hours from 1 p.m. All right. So that's round trip. For one way, it's just the same. That's one way. And you could search by price or by schedule. You could also specify a carrier. So if you have a carrier preference, Cathay Pacific, Singapore Airlines, American Airlines, so you could actually specify a carrier and it will narrow down the search to that carrier. And of course, multi-city. If you're going to visit a number of destinations for a number of dates, then you could put in here. These are sets of flight time from to. So multi-city. At the right side, you have here travel alerts, company notes for the announcements of your company, trips awaiting approval, etc. So this is for flight search. For hotel search, same is true with the hotel search vis-a-vis the flights. There is a check-in date, check-out date. You can specify what airport, your company location, the address, or if you have a reference point or zip code, that will do. So if you prefer airport, so basically you input the name of the airport. So for example, if you're going to check in Singapore, you can put there Singapore, and then it will basically give you the airports in Singapore. So it depends on the configuration that your company will be having. So that's Concur Travel. For Concur Expense, you will see there manage expense, report library. So if you already have filed a number of expense reports or expense claims for reimbursements, liquidations, you will see all of the details here in the report library. With reports for the last 90 days, and you have different kinds of view specific for expense. All right. So, for example, you want to create a new report. You want to reimburse for a certain travel or for a certain company expense that you've shelled out some funds and you want to reimburse. You go to expense and then click new report. All right. So under expense, your company can actually specify a number of policies. So in our example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 policies. Liquidation report of cash advance, replenishment of petty cash fund, expense allowance fund, and of course, reimbursement of expenses, and the retail development fund, if any. So as we said earlier, you're going to reimburse certain company expense. So you click the policy reimbursement report of expenses. And you will notice here some red bars at the left side. So this means these are mandatory fields that we need to fill out. So the date, when was the expense incurred? For example, it's August 1. And then let's say meeting expenses, for example. And then transaction location, Singapore. And then let's say this is the first report of the month, etc. So once you're done filling out these mandatory fields, you just have to click next for the specific steps in claiming reimbursement. All right. So once this is saved, you will see here a report key, which will be the reference. So if in request, we said earlier that in request, it is called request code or reference code, and expense, it will be report key. So this is our reference in following up our reimbursements, liquidations, etc. And let's go to App Center. So Concur has partnered with different providers. Let's say we have Airbnb, Rocket Trip, and of course Concur for mobile, Uber and Grab. So these apps are ready for activation, especially Concur for mobile and Grab. So you just have to sync, whether it's Android or iOS. This is readily available. And another thing, before you can do actually transactions for travel, for requests and expense, you should be able to update your profile. So under SAP Concur, you have different settings. So if you'll be given an admin access for your SAP Concur, company SAP Concur, you will be able to request settings, or you can explore different types of settings. So in SAP Concur, for example, you can delegate function. So for example, if you want somebody to file a reimbursement on your behalf, or perhaps book a travel on your behalf, you can actually access it here. So here, expense delegate. So under expense delegate, you can add a specific user or your staff, for example, who can do booking and reimbursement on your behalf. So just click add, and then the name of the employee, the email address, or ID. So the different functions that can be delegated, the delegate can prepare the expense report, submit requests, can view receipts, can use reporting. All right. Now, if you're a head, for example, you will be able to delegate as well approvals. So your staff can approve on your behalf if you're away, let's say for a couple of days or a month, you can delegate it. So under company information, we have here personal information, company information, expense approvers, of course, email address, etc. So basically, these are the settings that needs to be configured first before you can actually proceed with the the functions of the use of function or functions of expense, request, travel, etc. So we have also here Concur mobile registration, and then travel vacation reassignment, and all these functionalities are available under admin function of SAP Concur. And another thing under other settings, it is very important as well for you to activate e-receipts. Because for vendors, for example, Grab, that are ready for e-receipt issuance, SAP Concur will be able to capture it and it will be uploaded in the system. So if you notice here, you have upload receipt function. So every expense that you incur, you can actually upload a receipt already. You can use your mobile to have a picture of that receipt, and then once you have stored it in your mobile using Concur mobile app, it will be shown here as available receipts. So it will be synced real time. So every time you capture a receipt, it will be synced here in your profile. You can also do it here manually. So by clicking, so for example, if you've already scanned your receipts, or perhaps emailed your receipts, captured it and emailed to your email and download it in your PC, you could actually click upload your receipt, and then you browse your receipt. So for example, so whatever. So once you've done that, these are different formats for the receipts to be uploaded, like PNG, JPEG, PDF, TF, or TFF. 5 MB will be the limit per file. You can actually upload a number of files, but as long as it's up to 5 MB per file, then that's fine. All right, so the nice thing about SAP Concur is that this is capable of doing a lot of things. You can actually access this as well to iPad, iPhone, or Android phones or Android tablets. All right, so let's go back to the e-receipt activation. Once this is done, then you can actually go ahead and you don't need to ask for the actual receipt because everything has been scanned and stored in the system. Another very important aspect as well for you to configure is your company car. So if you have a company car and you want to reimburse like mileage and other kilometrage expenses, you have to register your car here. So vehicle ID, that's your plate number, and then the vehicle type, say company car. Okay. Now for credit cards, SAP Concur is capable of having a company or corporate card, wherein if the employee reimburses, it automatically charges the company's credit card here. All right. Now under profile, you could input as well your passports by clicking add a passport here. You can add assistants, travel arrangers, and here the credit card, your personal credit card or the company's cards. So in summary, We've talked about overview of requests, wherein you will find there policies of travel and cash advance. And then in travel, which is very interesting, you can actually book here both your flight and your hotel accommodation. By the way, what tool is being used for us to book online? Now, SAP Concur has partnered a GDS system or global distribution system, particularly Sabre, or some other companies are using Galileo. So, airline and hotels that are capable of having a online reservation, an online display of their available flights and available hotel accommodation. They are partnering Sabre. So Sabre is a common platform as a global distribution system wherein it helps, or actually it facilitates the online booking of your flights and hotels. So let's do another example. So if you are departing from Singapore, right? So let's say that's the airport of Singapore, and you will go to, say, Malaysia, for example. And then specific dates, so just choose here like September 12, and you're leaving, let's say, around 11 a.m. and then 1 p.m. the return flight, so just overnight. And then search by price or by schedule. So when you click search, it will display the names of the airlines, whatever is available. So it searches the flights, it processes. So in this way, you'll be able to choose the specific hotel flights that you need. There you go. So you can actually shop by fares or shop by schedules. So it depends. So you will see there the depart and the return tabs. So if you are comfortable by choosing shop by schedule, then this is the display. We have the depart schedules and the return schedules. So as you will notice here, there are two carriers available based on our search on our flight criteria here. Well, you can actually change flight search or criteria if the need arises. So there are actually two carriers. We have Malaysia Airlines and AirAsia. So if you want specific for Malaysia Airlines, then you can actually click this, and SAP Concur will be able to display sets of flight schedules. You have non-stop, etc. So for example, for depart, you said here 11 a.m. So you can see here 11 a.m. So let's say you select this, right? And then as you notice, it went up. So this is your departure time, 11:05 for September 12. And then your return flight, you said here around 1 p.m. So the nearest here for the return flight is 150, for example. So if you select that, you will see there the set of flights that you've chosen. Now you will notice here, so as we mentioned, the audit rules, remember, the audit rules, these are rules that are specified in the system. So in this case, for example, there is a yellow alert. So this option triggers one or more company travel rules. So depending on your company's policies, you could actually set audit rules. At the same time, you could also view seats here. So if you prefer to choose a seat, so these blue ones are available. So you can choose any. So that. So etc. So once you're done, you just click close, and then you go to the next flights, your return flight for the seat map. There you go. All right, so basically, those are the example of booking for flights. And for hotels, the same with flights. You just have to check in and select your dates, check-in dates and check-out dates, so that it will display accordingly. Now, under profile as well, you can actually see here profile settings. We have contact information. We have system settings. So we can actually delve into the details on this once we have the specific short courses for SAP Concur. And then there's also a preference for change password. And then among others, as mentioned earlier, you can actually do more on the mobile, Concur mobile app. So remember when we went to the app, or this too. So when you click this, this actually displays the mobile app for SAP Concur. You can actually download it via Android or Google Play Store or App Store. Just look for SAP Concur or Concur Mobile. The logo is this one, C dot. So see, before you can use it in your mobile, once you've downloaded it, you just input your email credentials, and you click connect here for the web-based for the web function. You click connect so that it will sync in SAP Concur. So basically, this is the display for Concur mobile platform. You will see expenses, expense reports, and approvals. So if you have reporting people, if you have direct reports, let's say 5 or 10, and they file reimbursements and flights, they will see here the approvals. You will see here the approvals for their claims and then for their travels. So if you want to use iPad, so this is the display, and this is the login page. So it says here works with Concur offerings for expense standard, professional, etc. So Concur Mobile, aside that it's being very handy, you can actually see that the display is very simplified. So if you just basically needs to approve something, you just go to approval tabs or approval menu, and you'll be able to display everything. If you want to capture a receipt here, you could click this camera button, or you can click the plus expense if you want to make a draft for future claims or reimbursement. And for mileage, if you use your own car or company's car, you can actually use mileage here to compute the distance from and to your destinations, etc. So this is the beauty of SAP Concur. It is a widely used travel and expense system, very easy to use, and there is a lot of upcoming improvements for the system. So again, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll be able to tackle one by one the details for each of the specific functions for request, travel, expense, and how to activate your app-centered preference to your mobile. So we will discuss that further, and that's it. Thank you, and have a great day or evening to all. So again, this is SAP Concur, a product of SAP. So as a short background, it used to be like just Concur, and they exist for 25 years, and it was recently purchased by SAP. So that's why the name SAP Concur is now a combined travels and expense system. That's why it's called SAP Concur. the combination of SAP and Concur. Thank you.